There's a T-Rex, Donkey Kong, a DeLorean, and a Van Halen song all in the same movie. Yes. Ready Player One stars Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cooke, Ben Mendelsohn, and Mark Rylance, and is directed by Steven Spielberg. Based on the best-selling novel, in the year 2045, the world's become a pretty difficult place to live in, and so many people opt to spend their time in a virtual reality world known as the Oasis, and that includes our main protagonist, Wade. The creator of this virtual reality world sends out a vast message to all users and presents a very challenging game where all users have to participate to find his hidden Easter egg. Whoever finds it inherits a very vast fortune.
Vast fortune. Vast.
Guys, I have been ready for this movie since it was first announced. I have been so excited to check this out. This was probably one of my most anticipated films of 2018. I couldn't wait to get into the theater last night and actually finally watch the movie. The talent behind the camera, the talent in front of the camera, the many Easter egg references that have been littered throughout the trailers that we got just had me so pumped up. And I absolutely adore films that remind me of who I am as a person. And I'm a fanboy. I can't help it. I am a fanboy, and it's one of the main reasons that I love getting on camera. I love discussing movies, reviewing movies with you guys. It's just so much fun. And Ready Player One did that for me. It reminded me of who I am. Now look guys, don't get me wrong, I think that this film has broad appeal for the whole family, but for fanboys like myself, we're treated to a lot of Easter eggs in this film. It is absolutely jam-packed with them. I'd probably say roughly every 20 to 30 seconds we're treated to an Easter egg reference, either in plain sight or off to the side of the frame while a scene is playing out. They're not too distracting, they're just a lot of fun, and that's why I'm probably not going to spoil any of those references for you guys, because it's fun watching the film and discovering them for yourself. I will say this though, without spoilers, that there is a sequence that lasts roughly 10 minutes inside the Oasis with the main characters. And it's lifted from one of my favourite horror films of all time. The design of the house, the shot composition, the use of music. I have to applaud Spielberg and his team for the attention to detail that they went with to recreate this scene. I tell you what guys, I cannot wait to watch the behind the scenes footage of how they actually went about doing that, because it is so well done. Now guys, I was a little disappointed when I first heard that John Williams wasn't on board for this project, as when I go to a Steven Spielberg film, I just expect to hear John Williams and an iconic score. It's just a winning combination that's just worked so well in the past, right? So I was a little disappointed there, but I gotta say, Alan Silvestri is definitely the right choice for this movie. When you've got the main character who spends so much time inside a DeLorean in your film, well, you gotta get the guy who wrote the Back to the Future theme onto your project. And Alan Silvestri is having an absolute ball here, paying homage to the Back to the Future theme. So many instances, there's a beautiful shot of the DeLorean and the ostinato snare drum pattern from Back to the Future kicks in, and you just can't help but smile. It's so much fun to experience. So Silvestri has fun paying homage to some of his work, also iconic film scores throughout history as well, but Silvestri understands much the same way as Spielberg understands what this film is about, that it needs its own identity. It can't just rely on past references in order to get by. It needs to have its own thing going on. Now, the Oasis is pretty to look at, sure. There's a lot of eye candy there. But I gotta say that the stuff outside the Oasis, in the real world, I actually found that to be a little bit more compelling from a storytelling perspective, because it allows this film to raise itself above the standard action blockbuster. It doesn't go deep, but there's a bit of substance here, and it's when Wade and Samantha meet up in the real world. And it's actually just these two characters sitting and talking. And then Wade says this line, "Everything is so much slower out here." And it just raises things above the standard action blockbuster. So I would have liked the film to go a little bit further in that direction, but we get just enough of it here that it is pretty interesting. There's some great performances in Ready Player One. Ty Sheridan is somebody I was introduced to a few years back in Matthew McConaughey's Mud. Great little film if you haven't checked that out. And back then he even showed great presence on screen, and I think at this point he's really built himself into a pretty accomplished young actor. He has great chemistry with Olivia Cooke in the film, and Ben Mendelsohn is, of course, a veteran at this point. He plays a really cool villain in this movie with the right amount of menace. Great performance from him. TJ Miller provides most of the comic relief in the film, and I got to say a lot of his comedy did land for me. And Mike Rylance and also Simon Pegg provide more of the more heartfelt moments within Ready Player One. Now, I don't have too many issues with Ready Player One, except to say that the pacing of this film is really quick. I mean, really quick. And it was actually a little bit jarring at first for me when I first started the film. But I gotta say, thankfully, I settled into the film because there was a lot here that I was enjoying. I gotta say though, when you've got such a fast film pace on one hand, but you've also got a film length which is over 2 hours, it's a bit of a weird combination here, and I've got to say that at 2 hours and 20, with this quick pacing, we have a film that kind of feels a little unbalanced, a little uneven from time to time, and it actually had me feeling by the time I got to the third act that maybe the film had dropped the ball. Thankfully, it doesn't. We have a film that works on so many different levels here. The message of this film is great. It has a lot to say about online activity, our relationship with the internet, and it's really heartfelt. I really enjoyed the ending of this film. It's also great for fanboys because there's so many great references in this film. And it's a Spielberg film, so it's a great watch for the entire family, and it's a definite recommendation for a holiday watch over Easter. I'm going to give Ready Player One 4.5 stars.
Welcome to the rebellion, Wade.
Like many of you, I only came here to escape. But I found something much bigger than just myself. Are you willing to fight?
Help us save the Oasis.
Guys, have you seen Ready Player One yet? If you have, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and of course flick a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this movie. And remember, a weekend watching movies is a weekend well spent. Thanks heaps for watching.